morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Wednesday, September 4th, 2024. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Happy hump day, everyone. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. You'll notice the previous session we had selling pressure within range, and ultimately it broke through the bottom of the narrow 11-day range that had developed over the last couple of weeks. We've been following the development of this compression for a while now, and had mentioned how this compression could give us somewhere along the lines of a 400-point move down the way. 400 points. Right now, the 125% target here, as of yesterday's close at least, is at around the 387 level, so maybe about 400 points, maybe on the 350 on the lower end of expansion here. And today, after that expansion day down, we are seeing a narrow range heading into the RTH Open, 48% of ADR as the market compresses after recent weakness. Now, any pullback here could be an opportunity for bears to defend for a continuation downward, perhaps as low as the 5,400 level over the next several days. That's the midpoint of the previous month's range. So to take the previous month's high and close offered in this manner, that would suggest a continuation to the previous month's mid, a failure at the mid, and you start opening up the lower half of the previous month's range, which takes us into the 5120 level. So right now, narrow range at the moment. We are starting to see a little modest thrust reversal pattern that's developing here. That could give us a little bit of a fade after trend day, but after morning strength, bears will look to defend into that strength for maybe a continuation downward. A check mark continuation downward could be seen. Now, we do have a ton of economic data coming out throughout the rest of the week, including Beige Book later on today, factory orders, JOLTS job openings today as well, and then we have NFP Friday, and of course initial jobless claims and ISM non-manufacturing PMI and things of that nature on Thursday. So a ton here coming out in the latter part of the week. We could be looking at bears defending into strength for a continuation downward toward that 5,400 level. If we take a look here at the NQ, similar price action here for the NQ, narrow range right now in pre-market trading, overnight trading, 47% of ADR, whereas the ES is at 48% of ADR. A narrow range here after a downside break from this compression here. And this downside break could take us somewhere in the 1,500 to 2,000 point expansion range. So any pullback could be seen as a selling opportunity for continuation downward. And this market, fast approaching the previous month's midpoint here. That's around the 18.7 level. A failure through 18.7, and you start to open up the 17.8 level, and perhaps the previous month's low in the 17.3s. So again, any pullback could be seen as a selling opportunity as this market begins to heat up to the downside. Now, taking a look here at crude oil, this one here broke through the 72s in the previous session. A big time downside break. Remember, 72 has been a big time area of support throughout the year for this market. If you look here, 72's big time support all year long. The one times or the several times that it got below 72, it was basically being defended at the previous year's close. We've seen that zone tested multiple times. That level was taken offered yesterday, and today's high basically comes in right at the previous year's close. A little bit of a doji-like bar developing here right now, but a massive meltdown here over the last couple of days, and we are now below 72s with the potential to fail even more if it begins to give up the $70 level. I know in overnight trading here we've already gotten as low as 69.19, a little bit of a bounce back, but this is not looking very good for the bulls as of right now. Any pullback could still be seen as a selling opportunity, and if we start to bust through the 69 level, it starts to open up major support in the 64 zone down below. So any pullback could still be seen as a selling opportunity here. Intraday, we do have ourselves strong pivot high, strong pivot low, which could set the edges for the day, so it could be a fade the edges type of day for crude oil. Looking at gold futures, gold down a little bit here in pre-market trading here and into its RTH session. A little bit of a pullback recently. Mentioned yesterday that any pullback here into the higher value relationship on the pivot range could be an early buy opportunity for bulls looking to return prices back toward highs. A failure at the previous month's midpoint would break that idea, so we could pull back as deep as 2400 or 2480 rather, and still be a buying opportunity to 2600 and perhaps even higher. Right now, bulls again attempting to keep this area bid at the moment. A strong low this morning, kind of almost a double bottom down here against the previous session's lows. Any pullback here today could be a short-term buying opportunity as this market attempts a swing continuation to new highs. Looking at the YM right now showing quite a bit of resistance up top. We talked about this yesterday morning, how this is almost a perfect double top up here. A perfect double top, a big time failure through multiple day lows yesterday, a high range day to the downside. Again, today is another narrow range day, 180 points of range right now for the YM heading into the RTH Open. And any pullback could still be seen as a selling opportunity as this market perhaps looks to drop a little bit lower, perhaps into the previous month's midpoint. Previous month's mid takes you into about the 40,120 level. That zone right there could be a magnet for price down the way, especially with how strong the rejection was at the previous month's high and close. You take it that hard offered, you're typically going to see a rotation back toward the mid. So right now, narrow range heading into the RTH Open. Any pullback to new highs for the day could be seen as a selling opportunity for a rotation back down on an intraday basis. Looking at Bitcoin, down 2.5% right now ahead of the RTH Open. As we mentioned yesterday, this one could likely see another flash move lower. We've seen that multiple times over the last couple of months. Heavy pullbacks, heavy flash sell-offs here for this market. It's been able to bounce back each time, but each bounce back has also come with a lower high almost each and every time. So you're starting to see kind of a rounded behavior up top. And again, at some point here, we could get ourselves a very strong Q4 rally, but until then, more of a discount could be seen. We're in a key zone right now at around the 55K zone right there. You know, any lower here and you start to open up a retest of 50,000 down below. So this market remains bearish. Now we do have ourselves a strong intraday key range. So if you're watching this thing from an intraday basis here, today's high or the intraday high there got a strong downside move into the 55,725s, bounce back to VWAP on an intraday basis. There's an intraday key range there to be used, and we are currently trading near the center of that range. That could offer some fade the edges type of price action until proven otherwise, especially on an intraday basis. Looking at ETH, this one's down just over 1.5%. You'll notice again, this one has not been able to get above the 2,800 level. We've noted that level for the last couple of weeks. Needs above that level to open things up to the upside. This is the previous year's close right here. Previous year's close has been defended on multiple rotations here throughout the year. That's around the 2,300 level, 2,315 zone. And a failure there could open up new lows for the year and maybe drop this thing toward 2,000. Again, 2,200 has been a major market structure level as well as support. And then you have the 2,315 zone as the previous year's close. That's a formidable area of support right now. And any drop below that area, perhaps a lower low rejection, could offer the next buying opportunity. Again, a Q4 rally could be in play for these markets, but right now still trying to find the bottom. Similar to Bitcoin's intraday key range, this one also has an intraday key range of sorts to work with. So if you're looking at engaging this market on an intraday basis, look to fade the edges of the intraday impulse move. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this develops here heading into the rest of the session. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.